So I'll keep this brief but informative, so thanks for sticking around. I'm Suzie Cooney. I own Suzie Trains Maui, and I'm a team writer for Dave Kalama's boards InVision, and grateful to be here through Olukai. This is my second year doing a little training session for Maliko specifically, because there are ways to train. So in my talk today, I have two great volunteers to help me, Jenn and Lisa, and anybody else who wishes to play. We're going to talk about brain training, balance training, and cardio and strength training. So what you'll learn in my talk today is how to specifically train for Maliko, keeping surfing in mind, cardio, and brain training. So the first things first, we'll do the most exciting exercise demonstration. I feel like I get credit for this because I invented it, I think. I'm also a team writer for IndoBoard, and everybody who trains with me knows that it's a way of life. You have to train your brain with reaction training and for balance. And even in your everyday lifestyle, balance is very critical for training. So this exercise is designed to stimulate all the fine muscles that tend to burn out during a training session on Maliko. And for endurance training, for distance, or even a short sprint course, 8 miles, you still don't want your feet to fatigue. So you also want to be super light on your board. And in my talk with Dave Kalama the other night, I talked about being cat-like. So if you're cat-like, you're quiet on the board. The louder your board, the slower you go. So the more you can unglue your feet and really use the entire board and surf and get back on that fin, the more glides you're going to get. But if you're stuck like a fly trap on your board, you're not going to move and you're just paddling like this, you're going to miss all these bumps. And the lower you can go, and the more you can utilize your feet, and the more you can think about quickly and react without thinking, the more glides and bumps you're going to get. People often complain that their feet fatigue quickly and they don't know how to remedy that. So you have to really train each point, meaning each joint. So ankle, knee to hip. When you're doing downwind paddling, you actually paddle independently right and left leg. It's not just standing here with your arms. You're driving and shifting the board and always changing it up. Your feet are going from a staggered stance. I never recommend you stand like this when you paddle on Maliko. You always want to be in that surf stance ready, and pretty soon you might take 2 steps back depending on how long your board is. So the faster you can react and train your brain to think, get that wave, carve, set up, the faster and more glides you're going to get. This next exercise is one of 1,000 I get to invent and play and test on people. We have record keeping in my studio. I do a lot of Skype training all over the world, and then people come here to Maui and train with me. It's quite fabulous. The first trick and demonstration for balance I've called the floater, and it's kind of an optical illusion because when you're surfing and catching a wave, you're kind of floating on the lip sometimes if you're an advanced surfer. And it's kind of like you have no direction, but you have to stick with it and kind of go with it. So if we can mimic what we do on the water, on the land, your brain stores all these files, and then when you need it most, boom, it's right there, and you can utilize that to catch more bumps. So if you can train and burn out and fatigue all the fine muscles, you won't blow up the big muscles. You can save those for later. So if we can utilize both muscles efficiently and effectively, you'll catch a lot more glides without fatigue, especially if you're training for distance. Okay. So the first and only balance exercise we're going to demonstrate is called the floater. And what we have here is just a standard IndoBoard, the original IndoBoard with a nice grippy texture. And this is their small cushion, 12-inch in diameter. And then on top of this cushion called the Gigante Flow Cushion, it's 24 inches in diameter. And when you inflate these, of course, you always want to use the nubby side up. These were actually designed to go under your stand-up paddleboard, so you take off your fins and you train on this board. It's pretty cool. And if you put 2 out there, it offers you kind of like you're paddling, so I recommend that. So what I've discovered was if I put these 2 cushions on top of each other like this, it creates this optical illusion of 4-way water action on Maliko. Because it is so chaotic, you're not getting a steady rhythm or a purchase of your paddle. It's always different. Each stroke is never the same. Each yard of water is never the same. So your body has to react. So what we can do is mimic that gliding sensation across the water by literally putting this board on top of this small board, and what that gives you then is this illusion, darn it, of floating. And so Jenn has come all the way from the Bay Area. She's been training hard for Olukai, and we train on Skype quite a bit. She is going, I think she's broken the record, almost 3 minutes? Yeah, 3 Yep, 3 minutes is the record, so if you want to challenge her, we take any online challenges. So Jenn holds the record, and I think it's Cody after that. Let's see here. So Jenn, we're going to go on the surf stance. Are you cool with that? Cool. Okay, so Jenn is going to come over here, and she is going to use the spin bike to hold her up. I did. I inflated this more to make it more difficult for her. So this is Jenn from the Bay Area. Say hi, Jenn. Hello. Hello. Okay, so she is going to assume the surf stance position. Her eyes will gaze forward. And what she's doing is she's surfing. So there is no sweet spot. There is nothing that's keeping her upright except her brain. And she is just amazing. She has been ripping this week on Maliko. I've seen her. I've seen this huge transformation. She spent, what, 2 weeks in Costa Rica a week ago? So she's primed and ready. And so what was funny is she was training down there, and it made me feel really good. The guy goes, "Are you training with a trainer?" And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Is it Suzie Cooney?" She goes, "Yeah." So that made me feel really good. So we're doing something right out there. So as you can see that there's so much water action here. And, you know, at first, if you're not used to doing a downwinder, Maliko can actually feel like this if you're not used to doing, you know, any type of paddle surfing or surfing. But there is no point of reference, and that's my point. She is now surfing by instinct. So her brain is just trying to quiet this board down. So remember, the more quiet she is, the faster she's going to go. Okay. She does have to race, so we're going to give her a break. Okay, thank you, Jenn, yay! Would anybody else like to try? You want to try? Oh, great, okay. Thank you, Jenn, thank you. What's your name? Hi, I'm Suzie, nice to meet you, Ronnie, aloha. Okay, have you ever done anything like this before? Will you sign my waiver? Yeah, yeah. You did what? No, I'm kidding, okay. So are you regular footed? Okay, cool, so it's best to have your eyes going in the direction you want to go. I'm just going to put my fingers here until I get to know you. And it's pretty tricky, isn't it? This is a 40-pound spin bike wheel alone, and he's going to have to master this. So his brain has no idea what to do with him. Eyes forward. There we go. Look up. It's not easy. It's tricky. Okay, please step off the back safely. Whoa. Okay, we're going to do this again, Ronnie. Hold on. Don't go away. So I want you to stop for a moment. Disconnect your foot. Okay, now we're going to just wait a second. Reset your brain. Ready? There. Okay. So, okay, let's try it again. Because now your brain has information. It's not as new. And let's see what happens. I'm going to spot you here on the bike. Eyes forward when you're up there, nice and loose. You can do two fingers. I recommend that. Eyes forward. There we go. Okay. Nice and easy. Okay, 5 minutes. Ready? Nice. Very good. It's crazy. So, of course, you wouldn't start like this. You'd progress. This is the most advanced. Again, this is called the floater. And see, it's amazing. So, part of you is here. There we go. He's so brave. Very, very cool. Okay, step off one more time, Ronnie. Let's take a break. We'll do it one more time. So, 2 times to store information, 3 times to master. Okay, let's do it. Go ahead, one more time. Let's bring your foot right where it says risk. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's start with 2 fingers, let your brain connect, and then we can let go. Eyes forward, please. Good. Okay, breathe. Okay, here comes Dave Kalama. Hurry, pass him. You got it. You. Okay, I'm kidding. She's looking around. Okay, let's get up for Ronnie. Thank you, Ronnie. Yay. Anybody else want to try? Oh, come on, Bill Worthington. I'm sorry, it's too late now. So he's responsible for these fabulous designs, by the way, of Olukai. Don't screw up, no pressure. So did you sign my waiver, Bill? Denise, is this okay with you? Okay, put your foot here where it says at your own risk. And I really want you to hang on. And first, 2 hands, Bill, come on, just for me. And then eyes forward, and then you can let go slowly, 1 hand, and then the other. Okay, very good. Like a lot of motion in the ocean. Very good. So all this translates to muscles that you don't even know you had. And that's the whole idea, is to stimulate the muscles that we need for downwinding. This is great for anybody who has balance issues or who wants to improve their leg strength, because as we get older, we need to have better balance. Bill's surfing. You've been training, I know. Bill trains at the gorge a lot. A lot. You had a good run this week, right? That was good, Wednesday? Okay, round one, nice. Okay. Oh. Okay, let me adjust the board. We got 2 more tries. Thanks, Bill. Okay, all right. So one more time. Stick around, Lisa. We'll be having you up next. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Okay, ready? Okay, let's dominate this, Bill. Okay, breathe. Eyes forward. Right away, eyes forward. Very good. Very nice. See? Look how much better that is. He's making it look easy, and it's really not. Can you imagine doing this for 3 minutes? You're never too young to surf, huh? Very nice. Look at that concentration. This is brain training. I always tell my friends that the smart people have better balance. Determined. Wow. Bill, that's good. Now see how quiet his upper body got? And the left half, bottom half of his body just kept shaking and baking. That's normal. Look at that. So when you're paddling Maliko, open up your chest, let the legs do the work. Right, Kathy? Yeah. You're a good little paddler. Let's give it up for Bill. Thank you, Bill. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So this next, yeah. Oh, these are fantastic, and there's the small. Yeah, there's so much you can do. So it's just completely endless. I have lots of videos on my website, SuzieTrainsMaui.com, and my new book that came out, which is available at Adventure Sports Maui. They're all signed copies. So please enjoy 11, 12 chapters of stuff like this. Okay. My second demonstration is with our dear friend Lisa Schell, all the way from North Carolina. She is one of the editors of Distressed Mullet magazine. She just finished the graveyard race last Sunday, and it hasn't even been a week, Saturday, and that was 14 miles of pure you-know-what. So we're welcome to have Lisa here. So she's been brave enough to allow me to talk a little bit about brain training. And so I do have special props for this. Okay, and this is all in fun, but I want you to start thinking more about using your arms less to paddle. Okay, so let me get my props out and have you stand right here. This is the magic hour. No, you can't. No, and this is a G-rated demonstration. Okay, so let's just say you had to rely only on just, don't look, just a few senses to paddle. And the better paddler you become in time, the less you rely on your senses. So if we took them away one by one, you'd have to think about what other body parts would I use to paddle. So with that in mind, I want you to start thinking less about your arms or your legs and more about your brain. This is called proprioception training or neuromuscular training, and I'm famous for it because it's the most important element in training. So again, the smarter you are, the better you do at these things, and you're smart. Okay.
No, I tried the graveyard and I see one.
Oh, maybe stand up next time. Okay. Okay, so the first thing, and my point being, is don't look, Lisa, behind here of all my props. I thought about this a long time, as you can see. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is the very simple part. I'd like you to just to hold my paddle with your, you can look, okay, all right. And so, nice paddle, that's my paddle, you don't get to use my paddle. Okay, I do recommend the Quick Blade V-Drive, by the way. Okay, so, and then at this point, Lisa, I'd like you just, if you could hand me your glasses. Thank you. Trust me, okay, yeah, trust me, okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come behind you, and I'm going to blindfold you. You might need, can I take off this hat for a sec? Okay, here we go. Okay. So maybe I might need your help. I don't know. I don't want to hurt you. Okay, got some sunscreen on there now, huh? Okay. So my point being is that, and thank you for being so brave and trusting. I have literally, isn't that wild? So hold your paddle, and I want you to think about being on the board.
So hold it.
Just however you normally would. So what we're doing is we're giving your brain an opportunity to think about paddling in a whole nother dimension. I want you to be a multi-dimensional paddler and not rely so much on what you see in front of you or what you think you see. So if anybody took philosophy in school, my philosophy teacher tried to get me to write a paper on how to describe on why the chalkboard wasn't in the room. So I never majored in philosophy, so that's probably a good thing. But, however, what I want Lisa to think about is one of the practices that I do in my training right here in the harbor is I will paddle with my eyes closed. And the reason, in a safe area, not on waves, of course, and the reason why I do that is I want the ultimate connection between my mind, how the water is feeling, and what I should be doing while I paddle. Does that make sense? Lisa? Okay. She's still, are you awake? Are you sleeping? Yeah. The massage is coming. A little pedicure? Okay. So the reason why we put the blindfold on Lisa is to really trust yourself. And I do a lot of trust training. I did this with Connor, and I had 12 people here all week with me paddling and training and talking about trust themselves and trusting the water. And so, Lisa, when you have your paddle in your hand and you're reaching forward, it looks okay to me. Okay, so I want you to pretend you're reaching for the nose even though you can't see it. That looks not bad. Okay, you're pretty well on spot. So when that blade hits the water, what is the first thing you feel, or what's the first thing you think about in your mind on how to get that board through the water besides your paddle?
Planting it.
Planting it.
The blade deep.
Getting the blade deep. Very nice. Okay, so let's say I did this and I took your paddle away from you, which I'm going to do. Okay, please stand upright. Thank you. Okay. Put your hands behind your back. Remember that movie with Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
That weird eyes wide shut? That was kind of weird. Okay. No. So, yes, I'm doing this for a visual, and yes, I'm doing this for fun because I love Lisa to pieces. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to make a point, and my point is that sometimes we need to feel our way through life and trust ourselves and understand how it is we can move the paddle or the board through the water without our eyes and without the paddle. Okay, so we're not going to be up here too long, Lisa. So what I'm getting you to think about is, and the first thing as a paddler, and you're pretty good, what is the first thing that comes to mind? How do you move your board through the water without your paddle?
So is it already in the water? Are we assuming that?
We are assuming your paddle's in the water. What would be the next part of your body that would get the inertia to go through the water, through your body to the board? What would you use? How would you get that board to move? How would you hint, drive?
Okay, like
Bend her knees, reach,
push,
and then what?
pull back.
Then the inertia through what part of your body?
I push with my legs.
Good, legs.
Yep.
Okay, and then what? What happens after that? Driving with the legs.
Driving with the legs, I'm going to push down with the top hand.
Push down with the top hand next.
I'm going to rotate and push with my legs and pull.
Okay.
I'm trying to pull the
Okay.
board toward the paddle.
Okay. So let's say now we don't have a paddle.
Okay.
Okay, so we're standing and we have to move this board through magic with our mind, without our paddle, through the water. How do we do that? Bend the knees, check, yes. Push. Hip thrust. Okay. So my point being, sorry to block you. Good job, Lisa. So we're almost done. You're such a sport. My point being is that using everything in your mind for hip thrust, driving the board through your feet to the board, through the hips, back down to the knees, to the feet to drive the board. Your accessory is the paddle. So that was my whole point, is getting you to think about to use your entire body. Thank you for playing my game. But it did intrigue you, didn't it? So this is all in fun. Thank you, Lisa. You can take that off. Thank you. Let's give it up for Lisa. Yay! Thank you all the way from glasses. No, we're keeping those. All the way from North Carolina. Say hi to John Busang for me. And good luck tomorrow. So glad you're here. And talking more about what we're talking about is driving the board through the legs. Use your imagination. Paddle with your eyes closed for about maybe 10 strokes and see what happens. So that's my short talk on proprioception training. Again, I have tons of videos and I really believe in brain training. So thank you again, Lisa. That was awesome. Okay, final part of my talk is cardio. And that is a sprint out there. You don't have time to relax, and it's a different type of training. Hello. And it's really important that you don't neglect your cardio training. So cardio is everything. It's 2 to 5 strokes, surf. 2 to 5 strokes, surf. So it's it's like an Ironman. Coming out of the gulch, it's an Ironman event, and you need everything in your powerhouse of lungs for lung capacity to keep you moving. So my top recommendation for cardio training is the circuit style cardio. And what that would involve was, I'm just going to give you a quick example. It would be, I use my spin bike, this block, and a medicine ball. And what you do is to get your heart rate up to full capacity, because what you're doing, I train Connor and some of the pros, they have an amazing ability to get their heart rate up to max, and he's only, what, 22, 23, so his max heart rate is going to be much higher than mine, for example, and he can maintain that. And then after that, he has the uncanny ability to bring that heart rate down again to the next bump. So it's up, down, up, down, up, down. He also is a soccer player, high endurance, so he has that natural ability. I do recommend that you train sometimes with a heart rate monitor to get to know where you're at and what it feels like, but don't rely on it. So using a heart rate monitor is a great gauge and a great start to learn your cardio. The whole event is an Ironman. There's parts that are slow, so you have endurance. There's parts that are fast, and you have to be explosive with your paddling. So it's constantly, constantly changing. So flat water specialists don't do as well because they're so focused and they blow up early. So what we like to do is sneak up on the back. We know we can't get off the line as fast because we are not flat water paddlers. So we go slow and we go faster and faster and faster because we're surfing, catching, exploding, catching our breath again, and going at it again. So it's an interval. So one example you can do for cardio training, I recommend, again, as I said, circuit training is the fastest way to get your heart rate up. And it's all the variables in how you train to approach your circuit training to make it more challenging. The goal is never to plateau in your cardio training, never get comfortable. As a matter of fact, always add 5 more, go 1 more minute, those types of things at the very end of each exercise. So for one example, I would get on my spin bike, and then I would go to, let's say, the medicine ball, and then I would use the jump block. So this is about 2 feet tall, and I'm just going to give you a quick example. Let the helicopter go over. So for example, I would do one song on the radio or my headset, and I would always be in standing position for one entire song. And that would be the start of my circuit. And I would have, like, maybe, this hurts in my Olukais, but I would do maybe one song, not too hard, but always standing, never sitting. And then, okay, next song, ding ding, I would go to the block or the medicine ball. I'll choose the block. I would do a simple exercise with no rest in between of simply, for one song or counting to 50, arms up over the heart. If you train with your hands over your heart, you increase your cardio, and you would just get up and down just like this. Don't miss the seat. Just up and down like that. You'd be surprised how fast that gets your heart rate up. So one song, one song. To add challenge, you can take a medicine ball, this is 8 pounds, or an 8-pound dumbbell. Take this with you, up and out. Here, up and out. You can do half the song like this, or the whole song. That's exercise number 2. The next exercise you can do is use a step or a box like this, and simply do alternate or same side steps, up and down, like this. Make it more challenging. Arms up over the head, like this. Next exercise, I recommend a prone exercise, meaning when your heart is in the prone position, it's going to beat 4 times harder and faster. Be careful of getting dizzy and coming up too quickly, and certain medications will cause that reaction. So be very mindful of how fast you make that transition. Going into a prone exercise, an example would be knee bent push-ups on the medicine ball, and it would just be like this. Just push-ups as fast as possible. I don't know if I could do an entire song, but I would do like maybe 10 to 20, and then I would jump up again as quickly as possible. Take the medicine ball, either for 1 minute. I put my watch where I can see it, or a big clock, or a song, and I would do squat to press, squat to press, squat to press. Next song, toe taps as fast as possible. To make this more challenging, 5-pound weights, up, down, 5 pound, doing something, always mixing it up. So that would be one circuit. So my point being is circuit training, I haven't done anything and my heart rate is going and I'm in decent shape. So you can reverse that order and do it any which way you choose. So as long as you do 1 or 2 exercises that are in the prone position, you can do 1-arm back rows with a weight, just like that, back rows, staying low and switching. You can do jumping jacks, but incorporating cardio. This can all be cardio. Does anybody have any questions? Yes? Well, it depends how much time I have. So if I have a half hour to train, I'll do core training, balance training, and then 15 minutes of cardio. If I have, and I always do my cardio, or I might do cardio paddling. It just depends on what I have in my training schedule for that week. One of my cardio, yeah. My land cardio. Then I have water cardio that I do on my board. Sprint intervals too. I always do both because of strength and mixing it up. Your heart plateaus. To gain more heart capacity, you always want to do something different. And so these are different ways to stress my heart. When do you max out? Or if you have a trainer, it's pretty much impossible. You have to know what to do. So a lot of the athletes get bored. So I sometimes, like for Cody, we'll go in the water. I'll put fins on him, and I tie him to me, and he has to push this medicine ball underwater for half a mile. And that's how we keep him not bored. So swimming is a great way to stay in paddling shape. When you swim 1 mile, it's equivalent to running 4. So being very efficient in your training. But my point being with Maliko, it's sprint interval training. So a picture of what a water session might be, take 15 minutes, and in that 15-minute time frame, just do sprints. You can count by stroke or count by time. You can go 1 minute, full on max heart rate. Or you can go 10 strokes, 20, constantly mixing it up. It's really important to do that. Then I would go home and do my land cardio. But I wouldn't overtire myself, so I couldn't do this. This is also very important. Balance training, 15 minutes every day, minimum. Every day. But it's my life, it's my job, so every day. And I have great tips. I bought a sample of my book, and then my videos are great. And I'm here on Maui, and Skype training. And really, it's more time on the water, you know, but just getting your surf legs on, it's really important. So to recap our little training session, what we did earlier with Lisa was all about brain training and finding new ways to find strength for your paddling. It's great. Airplane noise, huh, Carl? And then the balance training, of course, is very important, and the floater was fantastic. This is incredibly difficult, what we showed you. I mean, there's simple exercises you could just put just right on here and, you know, do some training just on that. That would be very beginner and very doable. So it's endless. So the key is to keep changing up your exercise routine. Okay? You guys racing Maliko tomorrow? Paddling Maliko? Maybe? I can help you if you have any questions afterwards, build your confidence for you. I have a great video that Dave Kalama and I just put out last Sunday. It's called Mastering Maliko, and I really highly recommend you listen to that tonight before you paddle tomorrow. It's got some great tips from he and I, and yeah, so we filmed it here last week. So I'm very accessible at SuzieTrainsMaui.com, and here is my new book that came out last year, and it's heavy enough to curl. So this is me doing the Entro crossing from Olukai to Oahu, and that was pretty exciting. But there's some great action shots of a lot of our local talent here, and oh, I don't know, 60,000 words, 400 pictures. So it's fantastic. Chapter 7 is called The Mental Part. It's my favorite, and I recommend it. So anyway, good luck tomorrow, and thank you for being my little guest today, and aloha, and we'll see you on Maliko. Thank you.